I want you to imagine actually finding your focus and what that would feel like. Imagine the clarity comes in, you can see the horizon, you see exactly where you're going. How does that feel in your body? I have 5 steps that I'm going to share with you today. What you're building isn't just a brand, it's the work and story God trusted you to carry. Welcome to Heard in Heaven. I'm Ray Ireland, best-selling author, global speaker, and co-founder of Evolve Podcasting, where our clients have reached over 3 million downloads. This show is where Holy Spirit revelation meets CEO execution, so your message doesn't just inspire, it multiplies. It's time to speak with fire, shake the earth, and be heard in heaven. What's the first step to getting clarity on your message? That's what we're going to dive into today, talking about focus as your first step to message clarity so you can communicate your ideas with confidence and inspired action in your entrepreneurial journey. So I want to share a story, and this happened to me 2.5 years ago when I gave birth to my son, and it was over a period of a year where I was just really struggling with clarity in my own entrepreneurial journey. And I couldn't find focus on what part of my story I wanted to share as my message as it related to my identity. I was in such a big identity shift. And also as it related to my business, I was also in a business shift too. And so you might be in that spot. And this episode today is going to help you get that clarity on that first step that you need to do to find message clarity. I think sometimes it's sort of like a lost ship in the middle of the night. It can be hard if you don't have a compass. It's like, where am I going? I want this episode to be like that guiding star for you to lead you safely to shore, aka safely to clarity in your message. Now, you might have heard that metaphor of a ship going just a few directions off target. And that can happen really easily if you're in a transformational part of life season where things are changing and shifting. You might actually shift that trajectory just a little bit because you want to go in a new direction. And that's awesome. And sometimes as you go along that journey, that direction, that little few degrees in the beginning where you're like, oh, I just want to shift a little bit. As you go on and on and on, it might start to feel like a bigger gap and a bigger change in your message. And that's where I see a lot of entrepreneurs getting a little bit confused. Like they've already shifted something slightly, and maybe that was an identity shift or a life experience or a business shift. And they thought it was just going to be a small thing. But now, a few months down the line, or even a year or two down the line, all of a sudden you are lost in the night because you're like, wait, I'm confused. I'm going in a totally different direction than what I used to be doing. So if you feel like you're lost in your message, what do you think your audience and your people are thinking? They're having a hard time deciphering, understanding not only where are you, but where are you taking them? There are people that absolutely look to you as the leader, and they might actually be looking to you as a leader, even if you don't necessarily know where you're going. I know that sounds crazy, but oftentimes most leaders are just 10% ahead or like 10 steps ahead of the people that they're leading. Because if you're too far ahead, you're not going to be able to relate to your people. So there's still people looking at you like, where are we going? Even if you don't know. So this is why it's so important. We got to clarify your direction, your mission in your message so that people that are already following you can stay along the journey with you. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to really just imagine that even if you've been drifting like a ship out at sea in the middle of the night, aimlessly drifting, I want you to imagine actually finding your focus and what that would feel like. Imagine the clarity comes in, you can see the horizon, you see exactly where you're going. How does that feel in your body? And just like sit there with me as I give you these practical steps, because I have 5 steps that I'm going to share with you today. But there's nothing that's going to happen by you staying in that same place, right? Oftentimes I think people, and I've been there before, where I'm like, I'm confused. I'm just going to stay here. Pause, stop. I don't know which direction to go, and I don't want to go in the wrong direction because I already feel lost. Do you feel me? So you might just stay. But the thing is that staying stuck is never going to move you into certainty. Staying stuck is going to keep you stuck in uncertainty and in that lack of clarity of where you're going, and also can actually lead to you losing sight of that vision of where you're going. And that's dangerous territory. I do not want you to lose the connection to your innate calling and what God has in store for your voice, even if it's a little glimmer. So I want to really bring that glimmer of peace that, okay, I'm going to find my message here, because choosing to find your focus and saying, I'm going to find it, is a way better path to go down than I'm confused and I'm stuck and I'm just going to stay there. So let's activate that bold, anointed leadership that is on you, to remind you that you are here to inspire others with the confidence that you embody, even if you're just 10 steps ahead. You don't need to know the full vision. You just need to see the horizon line of where you're going. So let's break this down into 5 easy steps. Number 1, identify your compass. So determine, what do you truly value and prioritize? That's what's going to be your compass in creation and in making decisions, right? Reflect on those personal values, beliefs, the long-term goals, right? If you're loving this conversation and it's sparking something inside of you, maybe it's time to share your own voice with the world. That's exactly why we created the Podcast Accelerator, to help leaders like you go from hidden to heard with a podcast that connects, inspires, and actually grows your business. We launched together in just a few months, and you'll have the system, support, and strategy to keep scaling and growing. Doors are open now, so the link to apply is in the show notes. We cannot wait to see you in there. Those big things that you just know are promises of God for you in your life and your business, and let that create a clear vision for your business journey up ahead. Number 2, create a strategic map. So just break down that long-term goal into those actionable short-term objectives. And I love to reverse engineer from there. Whatever long-term goal you feel really anchored to. Some people, it is a 6-month goal and you're like, yeah, that's what I want. Okay, go from there. Some of you, it might be even a bigger goal, and 6 months might feel overwhelming. So maybe it's a year or 5-year or even 10-year goal. Look at that and then develop a roadmap with clear milestones to guide you in your progress in decision making. All right, so far we have number 1, identify your compass. Number 2, create a strategic map. Now for number 3, apply focus filters. Regularly evaluate the opportunities and the tasks that you have through all of your priorities that you have going on, right? And just ask yourself, does it align with my compass? And does it contribute to that overarching mission and goal that I have set? When you apply those focus filters, there's not really much that's going to be able to stop you. Just even if you apply those 3, you're going to be unstoppable, and you're going to have a much clearer mission and message that you get to share with others. But let's continue on. Number 4, foster this faith-fueled leadership. So just embrace faith that you might not always be able to see the horizon, and develop that inner faith that you can move even in the dark times. If you can develop that, you're going to embrace this really unique leadership skill that not many leaders have, which is leading in the dark, right? And your unique leadership style is going to come out, and it's going to draw on parts of your faith and your story. And really, if you allow that to guide your decision-making process, it will ensure resiliency and authenticity in a way that only you can do, because you are connected to God and the mission ahead. People are craving faithful leaders. So if you can tie that in to what you're doing, the direction you're going to have success. And last but not least, number 5 is continuous course correction. It would be silly if I said, all right, now go and stay with that plan and don't move. No, that's not actually the truth with other things that come in and change and shift. That's adaptation, right? So you need to stay adaptable by regularly reassessing your path, regularly looking at where are you at now and where are you wanting to go, and then make those adjustments as needed. This is just like any good sailor will do. For shout out to all my sailors out there. And I was thinking about this because we were just in Amsterdam and we got boats and we were navigating these small, thin canals. And it was all these micro adjustments. It was never just stay and hold the wheel, right? And it was really fun because I was teaching Rafa, my 2.5-year-old, how to sail. And he's like going this way and that way. I'm like, no, like it's these little micro adjustments. So keep that in mind as you're course correcting. The smaller micro adjustments you can do, the better. And now you know, like stay aligned with your compass, prevent drifting away from the core strategic map that you planned, and put on those filters, right? These are things that I had to say to my 2.5-year-old when we were navigating these canals. I'm like, don't look at the pretty flowers over there. Don't look at the boat that's going in the opposite direction. Like, stay super focused and make these little adjustments. And you best believe we were all adding in that faith, just praying, okay, God, why are we putting a 2.5-year-old at the helm of the wheel? But we are, and we pray that God's got us. And you know what? It created a lot of great photos and good memories. So, okay, this is how you can anchor it in. So, those 5 pieces: identify your compass, create a strategic map, apply focus filters, foster a faith-fueled leadership style, and continuously course correct. All right, you guys are going to be awesome in taking one bold step today. And that one bold step can be just identifying one fear that's holding you back. Like, just address it head on. What is holding you back? And saying, this is my message. This is the direction I'm going in. Who's coming with me? And just embrace it. Embrace the decision that you're making in the clarity of your message. Just embrace that this is your move towards unstoppable leadership, and people are going to join you and follow you. Most people do end up getting stuck though, thinking that they need to have it all figured out before sharing their next message. And that's not true. But on the next episode, I want to tackle why the perfect moment doesn't actually exist in your message and how to break free from that limiting mindset. Let's dive into that on the next episode. Come join me, and we'll see you next time. Your voice carries weight, not just for today, but for eternity. If this episode stirred something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, speak it, let it ripple. If you're ready to launch a platform that amplifies your message and multiplies your impact, I'm here to help. Start your journey with the link in the show notes down below. Subscribe, leave a review, and remember, when you speak with fire, you don't just shake the earth, you echo in heaven.